Hey, back home to Fenway this week for the Red Sox. Kind of a tough start to the early part of the week, but closed it pretty strong. We'll talk about the past week and look ahead to the next one on AfterBuzz TV's Red Sox Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is our fucking city.
Yeah! Woo! That's right. Nobody's dictating our freedom.
Not terrorists.
Here on the set of Red Sox Wrap 360, I'll tell you that. If we
Undeterred.
want to wear a Celtics hat, we're going to do that.
That's
okay,
right.
We got lifetime Red Sox fans in here, Ben Fay, Kevin Finn, and Mike Conley. We're here to talk about the first week of the season, or as far as home week goes, and look ahead to the third week. And, it's been pretty up and down for the Sox this week. It started off on the wrong foot with them doing their home opener. It was started off great because, David Ortiz's daughter came out and sang the, Star Spangled Banner. It was great. He
Very
was floored.
emotional.
It was awesome. It
Although
was
the big three out there throwing the first pitch out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like you got Bobby Orr, obviously a fixture, and then you got Bill Russell. He needs help getting out there. And then Ty Law,
Little odd.
he's a little too spry.
Yeah.
I know that they won the championships rather late, but
was a little odd.
let's give me a Steve Grogan out there. Or somebody that
Great call.
has
Give him
a
the
tough time.
Come out with the
walking.
neck roll.
Somebody's got a little gray on their temples.
Yeah.
Give me a Gino Capoletti or somebody. You
Yeah.
know, but it was good to see Ty Law, but he looks a little too fit to be out there at a Legends kind of showing.
I would have taken Brewski.
Sure.
I mean, he's a little young, but
Brew. It was all set up. Quite the festivities, going on opening day. It's such a great time. And then David Price gets shelled. And then Craig Kimbrell gives it up. It couldn't have gone any worse after the opening festivities, really.
It was rough. I mean, as soon as the Red Sox felt like they got something going, there were the Orioles to just smack one over the fence or get a couple runs when they needed it, and it was really rough to watch.
It was quite a bomb that Chris Davis hit off Kimbrell. It was like I think we talked about my apprehension of having the closer come over from the National League. So it really got started off this week on a bad.
you really had me in full panic mode after that. You really did. You really did. But quite honestly, he's done nothing but great work since then.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I mean, everyone's talking about his stuff, which is just nasty.
Thank God we do a weekly show.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, but you did have me on the cliff there. I was having a lot of second thoughts.
It was a tough one. We got Mookie back hitting that day, though. We had 3 hits that day in a homer, but it wasn't enough, because that absolute moonshot that Chris Davis hit off Kimbrell, I was just like, please let this not be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, well, the Orioles are a group. They've been playing together for a while. They're ready to step onto the major stage, and they're a really good team. Mm-hmm. Red Sox still
a great
feel-
manager.
A great manager.
We talked about that before.
Yeah, they started off hot. I mean, I feel like the Orioles always get off to a hot start. They got some big bats there, so that definitely made it a little bit of a roller coaster ride for us. But I don't see that. 7 runs every game is not going to get us a win most of the time.
Exactly.
That's really kind of what we were talking about. Orioles being a team that had a stacked lineup, and maybe their pitching is going to be tough to find. But their starting pitches has been like best in the AL through the first 2.5 weeks. So it's a little bit scary. You would like hopefully for that to falter, and I'm sure it will.
Right.
Thanks, Baltimore. You'll get there. But let's just kind of skip over game 2 of that, where J.J. Hardy snuck those 2 around the pesky pole.
Yeah, that
Who
was
sneaks
brutal.
2 around the pesky pole in the same game?
The shortest home run of the season.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And his second shortest.
Yeah, right.
And they were saying they were watching this guy in batting practice, and he didn't hit one ball to the right side of the field.
No,
and there he goes and curls 2 around
Yeah.
for homers, like ridiculous.
How did the Sox do today? They dropped it, 5-2?
5-3.
5-3. Another game's effort for Stephen Wright, though. Is this going to be his kind of his deal where he gives up 2 in the first inning and then kind of settles down and pitches pretty well?
I mean, I think we need to get right into it, right? Is Stephen Wright, is he going to be a starting pitcher for us for the rest of the season, or is he going to move back into that relief role where we kind of thought he might be for the rest of the season? It's going to be interesting to see what they do when Eduardo comes back, because I think that everybody's plan is probably to have Eduardo be the fifth guy in that rotation, and that means that there's three other guys that are probably going to get pushed to the bullpen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all saw what Eduardo can do last year and kind of his potential. He could replace anybody from 2 to 5 in that rotation if need be. So it really, when he's ready to go at the end of May and whenever that takes, he's doing another simulated game, I think, on Monday, as well as Carson Smith is too. That then we'll just kind of place him in with whoever's
I mean,
going back.
Joe Kelly's on watch as well, right?
Kelly's on watch. He had his first start was obviously garbage, and then he walked the tightrope a little bit.
You know
this
what?
week.
Yeah, he did. I thought he pulled through. They were, I was watching some of his stuff. Typically, he's just throwing a lot of fastballs. He mixed in some really nice changeups and curveballs this time. Like, okay, we're finally starting to see some other pitches besides the fastball. That was really nice to see. And, he had a pretty decent game. He did walk the tightrope a couple times, but ultimately he had a pretty good game.
Yeah. Well, he let me just throw down his thing. 5 innings pitched. It took him 116 pitches to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5 walks, 7 hits. He had at least 1 base runner in every inning, but he did have 6 Ks. So, I mean, it was obviously better than his first start, and I think that's kind of how it's going to be with Kelly.
Yeah.
He's going to be a high wire act.
He got bailed out by some good fielding as well. And Pedroia made a ridiculous play at one point. I think
That
it was a double play.
that relay play,
Yeah,
you mean? Was that game? Yeah. Oh yeah. That was the sick play. To get Hottie at 30, made that play where he went off. The cutoff was a stray, and then he threw it back.
Oh yeah, that was
right
amazing.
to the base.
That was amazing.
That was amazing because it needed every portion of that.
Yeah.
It needed every stretch of his stretch on to make the cutoff, and then every
Delivered it right on the money.
And Shaw had to meet it at the bag,
Yep.
and it was perfect.
That was
because
awesome.
Anything less than that, and that's why you can't look just in the newspaper when it comes to Petey. You don't know how the guy's contributing. He just
Absolutely.
contributes in every single way. So
Yeah, a lot of people were saying last year that he was injured and he wasn't ranging as well. This year, I have not seen any issues with his range. He's going left and right very well. Really looking forward to how Petey's going to do this season.
I gotta love that. I just love that guy.
And the defense is getting better. I mean, we're getting better. We've got back our stud catcher. You see his return?
That really-
the pickoff move? Did he Tulowitzki off first base? It was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, you're back.
That was like,
Christian is back.
oh, okay, Jackie Robinson Day. Okay, I'm just gonna come and really just make this Jackie Robinson / Christian Vasquez Day. How's that sound?
Oh, and it was so violent. Like you see him come up on his feet and get ready. And I was like, he delivered that pitch, and it was just amazing release. Mm-hmm. Tulowitzki just was like, okay, I'm going back to the dugout there. That was a problem.
and he peppered 2 hits off the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Sick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's like, I don't want to say it caught me blindsided, but I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. That's why I was going to
Tommy
get
John
demoted.
for a catcher. I mean, it's
I
kind of
thought it was going to be like,
territory
okay,
there.
let's see how he does for the first month, maybe the first 2 months in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
Catch him maybe 5 innings, 6 innings here, but no, he is back.
I mean, I can't say enough about that pickoff play. I mean, I know he got 2 hits, but I mean, the threat of that happening to you, it's going to shorten everybody's lead by a half step, which is very powerful.
And the way he frames the pitches is so flawless too, you
Yep.
know. And what it wasn't Nesson telecast. I think it was maybe the Fox telecast on Saturday. They were just hopping on that the whole time.
Right.
Of, how strong your hands have to be to kind of make that dip with the pocket of your mitt,
Right.
and still catch it
And
exactly where
it's
it does
also
it
an
in.
artwork, because if the umpire sees you doing a really bad job of it, he's going to almost be a little bit, defensive about it, and maybe goes against you. You know
Right.
what I mean? If you're doing this,
Right.
kind of thing.
Maybe some strikes get called balls.
and
rather
he
than
is,
the reverse.
yeah, exactly.
Oof. Poppy's homer in that first Baltimore game. Was it the second Baltimore game? Yeah, I think it was the second Baltimore game.
Moonshot.
He had, I think it was the first inning. So that gives him 3 homers in the first 7 games first 40-year-old to do that since Hank Aaron.
Right.
Wow.
It's pretty good company. It's pretty good company.
Is there any way that we can convince him to not retire? Because like he's still the best player on our team.
Well,
I mean, besides Travis Shaw, who else?
I mean, he is. I think as
Small sample
we
size,
talked
but
to a
still.
bit last week, he is still a little bit the straw that stirs the drink to a certain extent because he's in the middle of that lineup, and when he's when he's hitting, everybody else kind of relaxes a little bit. Because right now it's like Bogarts, even though he just like put together an 8-game hitting streak, he still hasn't really hit his stride yet. Betts was in that funk, but then the early part of this week he started hitting a little bit. But
I mean, I'm in complete agreement because it's almost like the mental part of what he brings. I'll take 220 with 15 home runs if we can get like 1 year. You know what I mean? Just like to take him to like all the way out. You know what I mean? Like where it's uncomfortable. I know it's not going to get there, but
220 and 15, that'd make it uncomfortable.
well,
no question.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's teaching these a lot of pitching inside information to a lot of these kids. He's a big locker room presence. I know he can be kind of temperamental sometimes, but I think he's that perfect elder statesman right now for the Red Sox. He's just kind of, you know, obviously you have Petey leading kind of probably the locker room the most, but you know he has his presence, and it's just invaluable what he brings outside of.
Especially with the Latin players, you know.
You know what I mean? He's like connection,
Yeah.
and he's between the manager. He's got, you know, he's
Like,
gone.
what kinship do I have with this short white second baseman? Nothing. Oh wait, Big Poppy's there?
Right? Yeah.
I'll go there.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go there and hit.
Yeah.
Which Hanley decided he wanted to do this year. He's kind of sliding back a little bit. I wish he had more than one homer right now, but he's still playing a pretty good first base.
He's playing great first base, actually. I haven't seen a lot of bad plays come out of them from first base, and I've seen him make a lot of good plays
I mean,
at first.
unbelievable
He's been
stretch to the second, the double play the
Yep.
other night. A huge
He's
stretch.
picking balls out of the dirt. He's
Yeah.
he's making catches in foul territory. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I think his deal? He's just an infielder. He's just one of those guys. He's probably hasn't played outfield since he was like, you know, whenever.
Yeah,
And he's back in his zone again. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just different when you're in the you're not an infielder and you're put in the outfield and you're uncomfortable. Like I'm hoping it sticks because it seems like he's comfortable again.
I think it's more like he's just more involved in what's going on.
You know what I mean?
In
He
the
seems-
infield,
yeah.
whereas like outfield, you're kind of waiting for your turn. Whereas like the infield, you're just always ready, and it feels like he's always ready to make a play. right now.
Exactly. Yep. And
I
he's-
always felt that way in Little League. I was a lot more engaged
Yep.
when I was in the infield.
Yep.
Out there, you can be like, oh, man, I wish, like, you know, iPhones were invented at this point. I could be playing a game.
Oh yeah. Also, we'd be able to look back at some video of some of your.
Yeah, I'm thankful
Exploits.
iPhones.
Yeah.
I'm thankful iPhones were invented then.
I believe we were on the same CYO St. Teresa's team.
I believe that team won the championship. I
believe you're correct.
You know, it was pretty good.
There were 3 teams in the league, but we won that championship.
That was a heck of a squad. If it's the squad I'm thinking about, it was a heck of a squad. We got like Kevin Laird to play on that squad.
He
It
put a
was
couple
like,
onto Center Street.
I
from that,
mean, he also let Greg Morrow strike him out at Healy Field. Oh, interesting. That's a first. It's okay. It is a first. It is a first. Gonna have to go with just the booze glass. Hello. But yeah, I mean, one thing I will tell you where Hanley was a little slacking on his D this week, and it might have cost old Blake Swihart his job. Do you remember that foul in the Baltimore game?
Yeah.
And he didn't get it? That should have been Hanley's ball. He should have called off the catcher in that one.
He's really the quarterback in that situation, and it's like the
Here it is. It's not. I would have been React Team, you know, if it was going near microphones. You know, this is good. He's right on it. But yeah, I mean, then 2 pitches later, Trumbo hits a game-tying homer.
yeah,
You
and,
know?
and they
So it's
kind of
like-
like everyone was kind of PC to kind of just quietly blame that loss on Swihart there.
Thank you, Steven.
You know, hey, listen, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs.
React Team. He's on it. He's on it.
But you know, in the end, I think the overall grade right now on Hanram it's pretty high considering where he was last year because I was not expecting this. I'll be honest with
Right.
you, I was not expecting him to come out and be able to adapt to first base. I mean, it's still he didn't even come up with his own effing glove.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this is quite a turnaround.
It is. It is. And like Farrell talks all the time about how, you know, incredible his attitude is this year and different from
Right.
last year. And I do think you guys are right. It speaks a lot to just his familiarity and comfort level for being back in the infield, you know?
So speaking of uncomfortable situations,
Oh, boy.
are we gonna go there,
Which one?
Panda?
Whew.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it
can't be a Red
didn't-
Sox Rap 360 show without us talking about the Panda.
I didn't think it was going to get any worse after last week's show. I thought that maybe they'll put him on the DL, kind of work him back into shape and, you know, see what he can do. It's gotten worse. Now we've gotten word that his camp from the San Francisco Giants has had to hold him to not be eating at all points during the day. Apparently he has an eating problem. They've told the hotel staff that he's not allowed to order takeout or room service. You know, it's not good. It's
They
not
had
good.
they had his ex-trainer who was with him right before he signed his big contract. Well, he kind of came out this week and with the big babysitter. I don't know if you guys
Right.
saw the babysitter. I
saw the headlines.
headline.
Yeah.
And he basically said, "Listen, I love the guy, and when he's working hard, he's great. But when he's not being babysat, he's got a real problem." And whenever he went back home, I think he said he gained like 20 pounds in 14 days or something
Yeah.
like that. It was like 1.5 pounds a day or something like that.
Yeah.
One of the times he went home. And he said, and there was another time where he went back home with them and he stayed on him and he stayed, in shape the whole time. So the whole spin, this is the problem I'm having.
It's part of
with
that like Venezuelan culture where they connect through food.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you can, shine a little light on that for us. But
I do like food.
But I mean, the overall message for me was that he's not in a good way right now. Either way, he's not at his best, Pablo, and something's going on, and he's this is a problem. The whole Dombrowski situation after the MRI, and he's got a lot going on right there. He says he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but feel like, well, this is also the same kind of message you were sending when you said he had like 3% body fat. There's a lot going on. Like he's got a muscle in there, and he's got a
Dombrowski saying
tendon.
this?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they have to do typically when a player goes on the disabled list, they've already gone through an MRI. He went on the disabled list before they
Right
even
off the bat.
had done an MRI.
Right.
Then they do the MRI, and it's not he's got a torn this or he's got a torn that. He's got a lot going on in there. Like blood rushing through his shoulder and a shoulder muscle.
I think it's like you talked about last week. There's really not going to be a lot of value in any type of trade we do. I had heard a couple weeks back that they were talking about maybe making some kind of deal with the Padres where they could get James Shield and maybe toss a couple prospects in there to help get Shields off their hands. But at this point, I don't see that happening. I don't see anybody who really would want to take on something like this.
I'm just
That'll happen
what
as
is-
long as you're willing to eat 70% of Pablo's contract.
Why?
And take all of Shield.
What's the reading in between the lines answer to why he did go on the 14-day DL right now? I mean, obviously there's no use for him. I mean, he can't pinch hit.
Well, there
He's
it
not
is.
a defensive replacement. But yeah, I mean, this is just what was it like? Go away for 14 days and go see a dietitian. Come back 10 pounds lighter, and maybe we give you a 10-game stint. We can trade you. Is that
Well, and also it's kind of like it's a little bit of saving face for the player too, to be like, okay, this guy's not producing because he's got a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And at first when they said he's going on the DL, I was like, what's he going on the DL for? Beer belly or pupusa belly? No, it was shoulder, and I'm like. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is just a fictitious thing, just to get the guy out of the clubhouse and get this problem away." But now he's going to a second opinion tomorrow to Dr. Andrews. So
I mean,
it makes you
in
think
his
that
one
maybe-
start, he made they have a play where they showed it. He made a diving attempt, and he got up and he was walking around. He was finessing his shoulder.
That's all you need. 15-day stint. Boom.
Well, I mean, it's
You got to use that 15-day stint like for smart stuff. I mean, even if all these pitches we got on innings limits, it's like throw them on a 15-day stint now and again. Even if they have, I have this tweak in my elbow, but I think I can pitch through it. 15-day stint.
Well, yeah. Well, the big thing that came up was, there came the chance where he could have used him in a situation where he needed that bat. Instead, he decided to go with Chris Young, who was terrible in that situation. And look, if you're not going to use him in a situation where it makes perfect sense, you're not going to use him. So yeah, you're right. If a little injury comes up, what better way to throw him on the DL and be able to make some additional roster moves during that 15 days.
Speaking of roster moves, so I mean, obviously the Pablo one was a big one early in the week, and then kind of the whole catcher swap maybe kind of caught people a little off guard. I know it did. I did, as I talked a little bit earlier, because I mean, second half of the season, Swihart raked last year. And he's hitting 278 as a catcher this year. There's a lot of teams in the league that would want that, but it really just speaks again to that Dombrowski old school. He's like, I'm going defense first up the middle, bar none.
I also think
I love that.
You want a good catcher that you're trying to groom. They have two solid catchers. He's got to be playing every day. It's you want that guy in there getting his ABs, getting his experience with a pitching staff every single day. Yeah. And we're not going to be able to use him like that right now because we have an absolute beast behind the plate.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about Swihart.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was referencing Swihart. I know it was kind of a little bit odd, and it's like great to have him as a second catcher, but in the end, the long term, I would rather have him catching every day right now.
Yeah, I mean, catches are a little hokey. I mean, you also want to take care of their knees.
You want to take care of them, but
every day means 4 out of every 5, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you want him playing. You don't want him getting cold on the bench and being the fifth, catching for right and catching knuckleballs and being that, whatever. Rich Gedman, it wasn't Rich Gedman.
Doug Mirabelli.
Doug Mirabelli, yeah.
It's funny because the guy who probably hates the move besides Swihart is probably Andover High's Ryan Hannigan. Because now he goes into that role of having to catch Stephen Wright.
Right.
Before it was just like, okay, that's Swihart steal.
Yeah.
I'll catch my 2 straight shooters. Now
you get to look like a fool every.
Oh man, it's like that Swihart game where he had like 2 pass balls in the first inning. I was like,
it's brutal.
I was listening for the sirens for like Doug Mirabelli getting the stadium escort to the stadium.
But I mean that used to happen with Mirabelli even when Wakefield had it going and it was like windy out. I mean that's how you knew. It's like Mirabelly couldn't handle him. You know what I mean?
And he was our closer for a spell. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
That was awesome.
So, kind of like the whole Jekyll and Hyde of that Baltimore series where, Price and Kimbrel don't look as good as advertised in that game 1. Game 3, Kimbrel did look as good as advertised. That was the Kelly game where he was, all over the place, but was able to do 5. And pretty good Kimbrel, who struck out the side in the 9th. And just to see this guy throw BBs on the black to these big power hitters, I
mean, in general, the pitching staff has got a lot of strikeouts, which is great because we're built defensively, and apparently our pitching staff right now is leaning towards a high strikeout. Kelly had 6, I think, in his struggles. David Price is striking out a ton of guys every time out. Even if his losses, he's striking a lot of guys out.
Even Porcello.
Porcello's had a lot of strikeouts,
and that's is that the Christian Vasquez kind of influence a little bit? Just being able to kind of handle, not only framing pitches well, but also calling a better game.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I love having a former pitcher, pitching coach as your manager.
Right.
Those things, there's no way if you don't have your system in place, or there is a way, but if you're a good coach and you have your system in place, these are things that should happen. We should have these strong pitching staffs. We should have great catchers.
Yeah. In that finale to the Baltimore game, by the way, that was the first O's loss of the season. The Sox handled them. That was great. 7-0 going to that game, so taste it, 7-1. And the bullpen was really good. 4 innings pitched, no runs, 2 hits.
Yep.
So that's definitely a great thing to see.
You know what? Coming out of the bullpen, also we got Koji, and he's been quietly been our best bullpen pitcher. He has in 7 games, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, no runs.
The guy's a stud.
What a luxury to have a guy to come in the 8th inning and just know that he is going to, get 1, 2, 3 innings.
Yeah. And like if it comes down to it, and Kimbrel's worked 2 days in a row,
He's a closer.
yeah, just bring him in there.
Yeah.
And he's just like so steady Eddie. And it's like he's so consistent, and he really doesn't pitch badly until he's worn down. So you just have to monitor that situation, and the guy's going to be effective. I mean, he's just so incredible. You know, he's got that 89-mile-an-hour fastball that looks like it's 95 because it's got that last jump, or I don't know if it's like deception in his delivery or whatever, but it seems like a lot of those Japanese guys have that late jump on their fastball.
Yep.
Kenta Maeda from the Dodgers, he's kind of got that same thing too. But yeah, man. So Kimbrel, just watching him this week has just been so fun. You know, it just kind of takes you back. Because, I mean, although Koji has been great and he gets guys out and stuff, he's not the 97-mile-an-hour flamethrower coming out
It's a
there.
strikeout machine.
Strikeout machine, indeed.
So you've turned the page a little bit on.
I mean, I was
a week
always
later.
psyched about him, you know,
Okay,
but
all right.
I'm a little apprehensive. And, you know, are we being overly optimistic about this team? Because we think they're playing great right now, and they're one game over 500. So
Well, they
are we
also
getting a
went
little
up
ahead of
against one of
ourselves?
the better teams in the American League. I mean,
Well, two of the better teams, I think.
Toronto. I think Toronto was one of my favorites to win the AL East, and then the Orioles we obviously underestimated a little bit.
A
So
lot
I'll
of the
take our
pundits
chances.
had the Baltimore finishing last, and right now they're in first.
I mean, Toronto is a problem. I don't want to play them. I'm good. We're gonna take a couple weeks off from Toronto right
especially where I was thinking like one of their weak, points of their team was going to be their starting staff after Stroman. But Sanchez looked great today. He's been
Four
great
hits.
for the
The
Sox.
Sox had the fewest outputs hits of all season.
Absolutely.
4 hits tonight. They were shut down.
They did. He was great, and he was great when he pitched against them last week too. And what's his name looks good for them too. Stada, not Stroman. Aaron Sanchez. Who else they got? Anyway,
Yeah.
it left me.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really good. One of the best.
They probably beat the Sox this week.
You know, there was a little bit of a bright side to the offense today for the Red Sox. We did have Marco Hernandez. Did I
That's
get
it.
that first name right?
I know it's Hernandez.
Just
Marco
got
was-
pulled up from AAA and made a great start for us today. Got
his first
a
career
couple
hit.
at bats, got a hit, got a walk.
That was our first hit off
Stolen
Aaron
base.
Sanchez
And
today.
Petey got a day off today.
Petey got a day off.
Yep.
I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed because it's too early in the season, but flummoxed with the fact that Chris Young was in left field today versus a righty. And, like, this guy is a career, like, 220 hitter versus righties. Let's just agree that this guy is a lefty. And when the start's a lefty, he gets a start.
Right.
And when there's a righty on the bump, he's a sick lefty switch hitter on the bench. I don't know why he's in there today, starting. It's like
Farrell seems to be playing with him a
Holt in
little
there.
bit
I
with
mean,
him.
they got a lefty going tomorrow on J.A. Happ. It's like put him in then. You know, the Brock Star's young enough; he can go 6 days in a row if need be. I was a
Could be
little
one of
shocked by
those
that.
things, you know. We don't know what's going on in the locker room right now. There's all kinds of things,
I guess.
subplots. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Subplots.
Yeah.
I think Chris Young's giving out a couple handies to the coaching staff. He's getting some playing
That's
time.
not
and,
quite the subplot I was thinking of. I mean, maybe you got some guy,
Boom.
someone with a slightly tweaked hamstring.
Steven's
I don't know.
listening.
Maybe someone needs a day off. I don't know. These things happen. Cons.
Oh man, seriously, don't start him unless he's got a lefty on. But Porcello, it seems to be like his deal is he's going to be pretty locked in, but he's going to give up 2 bombs to one guy in your line.
Yeah. Well, he gives up some
That's-
big home runs. That's
That's good. I think he might have led the AL last year in giving
Yeah.
up bombs. But yeah,
it's a bit
and
embarrassing
Encarnacion
sometimes.
Hit some
It's
rocket
like,
shots
it's tough
off.
to watch.
Yeah,
But
but he did pitch pretty well the other night.
Yeah.
And if he is pitching pretty well, and those guys hit those homers and their solo shots, then by all means, I think that Encarnacion was a solo shot the other night, and maybe a 2-run bomb as well. But he still had a pretty good line. Those were the only 2 hits he gave up in
Bombs.
six
He had
and a
2,
third.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Encarnacion.
Yeah.
And then like last week was Batista hit 2 of them.
yeah.
So it's
He's
like,
just like, you know what? This guy's up. There's nobody on. I'm going to throw my fastball.
yeah,
Right down the middle. Challenge him with my 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
I'm going to Joe Kelly it and just kind of tee it up right there. Like, I throw 97, but I'm going to have it come dead on.
Yeah.
It's like, that stuff, yeah, that's good stuff at AAA, but pump the brakes. It's the bigs. So, Kimbrel, another save in that Porcello game. And, it's just, I don't want to overwork the guy. And now that Carson Smith's coming back, I don't think we will.
Where are we at on that Carson Smith?
He is supposed to do some type of simulated game tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow, okay.
So I'm thinking we could see him back in start of next week.
How do they handle the hit? He's going to go down to Pawtucket, right?
I wonder that. I mean, I guess. I mean, it seems like a couple innings here and there, but I don't know. The talk I've seen almost sounds like he's going to go right from Sims back to the majors. But I don't know about that. I mean, I don't exactly know what goes into a simulated game, but it seems to me live action in a AAA would be better than a simulated game,
Yeah.
So I hope to see him in a few of those. But
maybe because he's a reliever, I mean, maybe it's like, all right, he's good to go, and they give him 2 nights down on Pawtucket, and then they just bring him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hope so. So I'm glad we were able to not get swept by Baltimore. We were able to salvage 1 win out of that series. And now we're in the midst of the Toronto series. We've taken 2 out of the first 3. Game 4 coming up tomorrow. The ever-anticipated Patriots Day game. One of the best sports days in the nation. I love it.
Great day.
The only AM start time in Major League Baseball all season.
Really?
Yeah. And you can't seem to hawk by 11 a.m., 11:05 first pitch, I believe. All you people that are in bed not listening to this show, getting ready for the game tomorrow. And, it's just like you can't help but hawk back, obviously, when you think of Patriots Day game to 2 years ago and the whole tragedy and marathon bombing and all that stuff. And that's why we let off with Poppy's speech today because, it's just was a rousing speech and kind of, was one of the things that, rallied the city, And it's like when you think about that and you think about terrorism, all that stuff, and like everybody says what they're trying to do, and they're trying to disrupt the day-to-day living, of Americans or whatever. But to talk about picking the worst city to try and do that. Like, are you ever going to get Boston people off what they want to do and off their routines? No. They're going to be at the Cask and Flagon tomorrow at 9 a.m. getting a load on.
Oh, yeah.
And ready for the game. I mean, I used
out.
to love those Patriots Day games.
Oh, yeah. Half day from school.
Oh, well, I was thinking post-school where I was one of those people at the Cask.
Yeah.
It was like one of those 3 a.m. glows you had all year.
Yep.
Like everybody was going after that. Patriots Day, St. Patty's
Day.
and I would say Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving's the other one,
going to
yeah.
the football
But it's almost like, day and the night before.
Oh, yeah. When you just ran it into it.
Yeah.
You just
It
ran
was like
into
that 12-hour span.
Oof.
Pretty
cool.
After Thanksgiving dinner till 11 a.m. the next morning.
Well, no, I'm saying before Thanksgiving dinner. You would go Wednesday, all your college friends, whatever.
Right,
you're
yeah,
back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess it was before. It was
So it's
the night before. It was the night before, right?
So it's like, hey, Mike, can you help with the mashed potatoes? I'm like, no, I really can't do anything right now besides lie on a couch.
Right.
And I'll wait until you call me for the meal.
Right. And that was just on Thanksgiving. That wasn't kind
Just
of
Thanksgiving,
year-round
yeah. Otherwise,
kind of response.
I'm
You were
like,
up making
hey,
the mashed potatoes.
another kale salad for everybody.
You were always a go-getter. I remember that about you.
Thanks for listening. So coming up this week, we got obviously the finale of the game. What about you? Got any Patriots Day stories you want? I mean,
I think that speech really rung it with me because I had moved to Los Angeles a couple years back, and I remember that was one of the first years that I was in LA away from Boston. And
are we in Los Angeles right now? You got the hat on. I thought maybe we moved to Nova Scotia.
we got some Celtics in the playoffs as well.
Love
But yeah, I just remember being glued to the TV, and I just wanted to be there, supporting my friends and being there with my family, and so it's I think it's an emotional day for everybody that's from Boston, even if you're not in the city at the time. It's definitely a special day.
Definitely. I was actually thinking more of my fond memories before those, and just the fact of you go in, AM start time, You know, nice. Then you spill out. Maybe you catch the end of the marathon.
Yep.
You know, you go over to that Irish bar there on Boylston. If you go through the parking lot, I forget what it's called, short name.
Yeah, I used to live on. I used to live at the top of Heartbreak Hill, so we used to go out.
perfect.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we used to go out, and you know, you always, if you live in Boston, you know 5 or 10 people that are going to be running the marathon for charities and whatnot. So you're always there, and you know, Heartbreak Hill is where you really want to cheer your friends on because that's the roughest part.
That's where they need it.
Yeah,
That's where
exactly.
they need it.
I think they call it the meat churner or something like that because it's that's where they really get you.
Now, Collins, the first time you did Heartbreak Hill, I mean,
Yeah.
what was kind of going
I had
through
a
your
lot
mind?
of friends there.
Yeah, okay.
You know, maybe too many because they actually brought me a sub and I stopped there and just had that. I was gonna Rosie Ruiz the rest of the race, but it didn't come down. But no, then I used to go as a spectator and cheer people on, and then go over to
You call that cheering.
I mean, I give out waters,
Right.
you know, and say, hey, you're doing great. Go get it. You're doing perfect. I would especially signal out those people that weren't doing good at all. Because,
Yeah,
you know, I
that's
felt
what
the
I've
kinship.
I have more, recollection of the kind of the few that weren't kind of
Wasn't that-
jogging quite the
yeah.
way that you wanted them to.
Well, you know, I get behind those people, I like to think. You know, I mean, I'm not a marathoner, so I'm in awe of what they're doing out there. I would do a different type of marathon that day, starting at the Cask and then moving eventually to Curtains in Mission Hill. I don't know if you ever gone to that snenario. It's like
I haven't
a
been through
reunion
that.
time.
Right.
For anybody from like West Roxbury, Rosedale, High Park, it's like people you haven't seen in 10 years.
Yeah.
They like show up there. It's like
In Mission Hill.
crinkled.
Yeah.
And there's some Mission
Yeah.
Hill folks who will pepper in, but
Yeah.
you know, mostly the Tri-City area.
So if you're gonna be in Boston for Patriots Day and you've never been there, take the public transportation. For one, they shut down the
Sure.
entire city. Two, you're gonna be bombed by the end of the day.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And you probably went on listening to this until after, you know, maybe if they allow you your iPod in the jail cell tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully you'll tune in for that. So Toronto, I mean, this is what, 4 out of 6 we've taken for them so far in the early going, and they were supposed to be kind of the favorite in the division. That's good to see. I mean, the Sox off to right. The Orioles still kind of have their number, so hopefully they can get it done tomorrow with Buckholz on the bump tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And take 3 out of 4 from Toronto. That would be nice.
He always does really well under pressure, or he doesn't ever do well under pressure. But
Well,
either way,
Either way, I think maybe it'll be a fun time tomorrow. You know, it's kind of almost like a second home opener. You know, the fact
That's
of
what
the
I'm
early
saying,
start
you know what I
time.
mean? It's
you think
like-
the pressure's going to be a little too hot for
well,
him?
no, it's just no. I don't.
He
I'm
got
not.
better
I'm not
first
on the
start to
Clay-
second start.
exactly.
He
I
got
don't
better.
want to club the baby seal of
Yeah.
Clay Buchholz right now, like everyone is. And I have high hopes for him. I really think he can be a good number 2 starter. But he does kind of not really give me the
Inspire
confidence in these non-playoff esque situations, which tomorrow will have a playoff atmosphere. I mean, it's, you know, granted it's early in the season and whatever, but there's going to be extra pressure on the starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox tomorrow. Period. End of story.
I think he's going to be good tomorrow.
I hope so. I want to. I'm rooting for him. I'm not. You know, it feels like a little bit for me, at least after his first start. The Boston media, I mean, they just jumped all over him. Everyone was so like frustrated by him, and I get it, but you know, he's still a very capable Major League Baseball player, and he's got a lot of good baseball left in him. Let's not Bronson Arroyo him just yet.
Well,
You
if
know,
the Boston media wasn't the Boston media, this show would never have been born. Because we're like the Boston media, but on the West Coast. We're a little bit separated. We can
Right.
be more optimistic.
right.
I like to think that's what we are.
My
So
cousin
go
Matt,
get him tomorrow, Clay.
My cousin Matt Clow was actually giving me a little heat
Oh, Matty boy.
on YouTube saying we weren't bringing, because I labeled it as hot takes, and he's like, really, these are hot takes? Is this hot? So, I mean, I guess we're going to have to come up with a little more controversial stuff to really come with some
hot takes
heat.
meaning this.
Like, yeah, because I was like,
Gotcha.
all right, you know, come check out the link and see some hot takes.
I figure it's a long season. I mean, you and I are going to end up arguing eventually, you know, about something.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's not necessarily what they're looking for,
Oh.
but, you know, I don't know, maybe. I guess some people are, you know, the clowning of Jason Chiarella and Hankerson this season seemed to be a fan favorite.
Well, you got to tell those people, tell your cousin, tell Jamie Duett, whoever, they got to hit you up on Twitter and let us know where we want to go with this show. Where can people find you guys on Twitter, by the way?
I'm at Kevin F. Finn. I think.
Oh, we're getting played out already. I usually like to tease up the Twitters kind of in the middle. But
And you can find me at Benny Frickin' Jam.
Benny freaking
Where can
Jam.
we find you, cons?
I'm
Hashtags?
still not on. I'm still
Right.
not on the Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean-
do you think that's helping our exposure? Because Benny and I are just trying to, do our thing here and do what we can.
Oh, people
Wondering
like
if the
you.
actual host of the show wants to maybe get on Twitter or Facebook, something.
I'm working up to it. I figure
Right,
once
yeah.
Jerry Remy does it, I'm gonna do it. He's
Jerry
just a
Remy.
copy
Jerry
that.
Remy has a Twitter account. Granted, it's run by someone else.
Yeah.
But you
Oh,
can
if
to
I can
that
get somebody
status.
else to run a Twitter account, then I get one. No problem.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, no, I'm told. Yeah, we have no budget. Yeah. For that.
Right. Yeah.
Nope, nothing there. So that would have to be me. It's just I don't think having a forum where you can like speak to the masses on a knee-jerk reaction with something you say is the best thing
For
me.
you, yeah.
I mean, you've known me for a spell.
I think you do absolutely fine on Twitter.
Really?
I think you'd really find it really rewarding and resourceful. It's a lot of good sports writers and opinions and information that comes out of Twitter.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
And other than that,
Looking at the week ahead, obviously we have the fourth game of this series, and then is it? We got 3 with Tampa
We do. At home.
at home, and is that? Do we have an off day Tuesday, or is it?
No, we go right into it.
Right in Tuesday through Thursday series, and then we go
and
on
then
the
we're
road
at Houston.
at Houston. That's right.
Right.
So next week will be, folks. We're going to be kind of settling into this 11 p.m. Eastern time for a while. I know we've kind of been all over the place here the past couple weeks, but we're going to be settling for this 11 Eastern time for a while. However, next week, where the Sox have the late game, will probably be on about midnight Eastern. So, factor that in if you actually listen to this show live. We appreciate it.
a lot of people having to reschedule.
Yeah.
Things, shuffle
Well, I
things
guess
around.
Sundays
you know
are
what I mean?
pretty open, especially in the nighttime, I think, back there. So it would be nice if they could take 3 out of 4 tomorrow with the Buck on the hill, and then, like we say, keep winning series. 2 out of 3 in the next 2 series would be nice. How is Houston? Houston out of the gates a little slow this year, it seems. They were kind of picked to be one of the best teams in the West, and I don't know. I think they're about 500, but they got some boppers. I mean, it just seems like we're going from a team with mashers to another team. Although Tampa is a team that's all pitching and no mashing, so that'll
Right.
be kind of. Hopefully, we
It'd be a good test. I'd like to see if they're going to be able to put up consistently good numbers, and hopefully maybe we can get this pitching staff into a little bit of a groove.
Yeah.
The bottom line is it seems at least it seems like 10 years ago, whatever, at the beginning of the season, pitchers dominated and hitters kind of like, now it's, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It seems like it's kind of changed now.
Yeah, it
Where
seemed
it's like with the
the hitters
evolution
warmed
of
up
like
with the weather.
But it's also like now maybe they're like just playing year right, like literally in shape work. Like I think 10, 15 years ago, you showed up, if you were like a major league hitter, you showed up to spring training and you got in shape.
Right.
And now it's like these guys show up to spring training, they're ready to hit 30 home runs in spring training.
Right.
And so in the pitching, you just can't do that. You can't go out and act the way you would at mid-season as a hitter, and you can do that in the off-season as opposed to pitching. So it feels like to me it's shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you come out and the pitching's dominating a little bit.
Well, that's the way I always thought it was.
I mean,
That
I'm
the
sorry.
hitters warmed up
Yeah.
with the thing, yeah. But it
Right.
seems with
I'm
Buchholz,
sorry.
he's the reverse, like you're saying, where he comes out slow.
Right.
And then
Right.
he seems to
Right.
warm up with the weather. which is,
Exactly. I've reversed the end of
Yeah,
it, but
right.
now it's like exactly. So
flipped it and reversed it.
flipped it, reversed it. I'm good at that. I'm sure everyone's pretty confused.
How's the
right
Sherman
now.
Oaks Giants doing these days?
5-5.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're battling.
Boom.
We've got it's probably our 15th game of the season. We had about 5 preseason games.
Yeah. You get
5
another
and
win,
5.
you'll have the same record as the Sox, 6-5.
Big lineup, big matchup tomorrow against the Diamondbacks.
Oof.
First place team.
That'll be big. That'll be big. I think it's cool that the little leagues now have like real teams,
Yeah. As
And
opposed to
like
when
Roach Brothers.
we
it's
had
like-
I was on the
Oh,
Indians.
you were the Indians, but
Yeah.
there was also like, I guess I'm thinking summer league.
Right.
We had football names, but you were probably playing Mike Melling.
Was only player in the history of Mike Millen to be traded from the yellow to the red.
Whoa, wow. There's
Controversial
a little
player.
caveat. Oh, how about one thing we didn't talk about? We'll brush on it real quick. David Ortiz and his stolen base this week.
Oh yeah, he's the oldest guy to have a stolen base since like
I
Ted
think
Williams
the only
and-
40-year-old besides Ted Williams and Cy Young
right.
for the Red Sox, and maybe one other guy for the Cy Young. It's pretty incredible.
So I only
third
saw
guy
the
was a base hit.
replay. I saw that he stood up. There was no throw.
No throw.
Right, yeah. Well, they were in the
Maybe it was
defensive shift
defensive
of- yeah,
indifference,
yeah.
really,
okay.
but it was kind of a charitable.
yeah.
He got a good jump. I mean, they weren't holding him on. It's just like, and then they were just like, oh my god, they were just so flabbergasted by the fact he was breaking that it was just like, no throw. We just want to take it in ourselves.
Who wants to hurt him on his farewell tour anyway? You got a gift there for him. You don't want to hurt him and give him the gift.
It's true. It's
You have
true.
like a fake piece of wood with a baseball on it that you want to give to Poppy.
Oh man. So I'm excited about the week to come. You know, get Tampa in here. We'll see how that goes, and then first taste of the Interleague. We'll see what the Houston Astros have to offer. You guys want to chat about anything before we sign it off?
Go Sox. Go Celts.
Go Celts.
Yeah, go Celts. Go get him. Avery Bradley, heal
Oh,
that
God.
hamstring, please.
Heel up.
Hey guys, for Kevin Finn and Ben Fay, I'm Mike Conley. This has been Red Sox Rap 360. Thanks for joining us. Happy birthday, Rico Bronya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.